We have two more country presentations. I'm going to ask the representative from Liberia and Cote d'Ivoire to come forward. I'm going to ask Ambassador Bennett to come up. Take a minute. We're still a minute so we can stay on time, and you do that while they're getting seated, okay? Ambassador, Her Excellency Ambassador Erica Bennett, please.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And it is a very, very good afternoon. Stan called me up because he knew that I would be very brief and he wanted to stay on track, so that's why he called me up now. First of all, I just really have to acknowledge Stan Straughter, who is an iconic figure who has been putting together and bridging Africa for 40 years. Let's please give him a big round of applause. I am, and don't get confused by this accent, I am an African American born in South Carolina, a little girl who sits as an ambassador at the Africa Union, who sits with heads of states. And if you ask me, how did you do that? Well, Ghana did that for me. Ghana did that for me. Our embassy is the first diaspora embassy of its kind in the world. There's not another one. The current president gave us the land at W.E.B. Du Bois Center, and we built our building there. We have been asked to open up 10 other diaspora embassies around Africa. Yes, let's give a big round of applause. The ambassador who just spoke, he said everything I wanted to say in terms of Ghana. We are the center of the universe. And what I have learned, Ghana has made me a woman. Ghana has made me a diplomat. Ghana has made me a person who cares about Black people all over the world. You see, and I don't want to get emotional about it, but you see, when they tell you don't come to Africa, I've never lived as well as I live now in my life, and I'm almost 70. And the kind of support and love and culture that they have in Africa, specifically Ghana, I'm just so honored that our chief would come. You see, that's how Ghana is. I just say, I need a delegation. And I'd like my Ghana delegation to please stand up. These are mayors who've come from all over. We have Stephen Chumatine, who has been one of DAP's greatest supporters. He gave us Sandy. You know, he brought Sandy to Ghana and said, there's someone who I think you need to meet. And that was Dr. Sandy Williams. Sandy, please stand up. Now, she's one of yours. Well, she was one of yours. She's now one of ours. But before I sit down, Stan, and I'm going to respect your time, I really must make a major announcement here. We are opening up a mission here in Philadelphia.
Great.
Because of people like Sandy, and because of people like Stan, and your new, and the councilwoman, and your mayor. Yesterday, he said whatever he needed to do to help us do that, he would do that. So in sitting down, and I am going to sit down, I want to say two things. You're not an African because you're born in Africa. You're not an African because you're born in Africa. You're an African because Africa is born in you. Did you hear me? I am an African woman. I must, before I sit down, you see, one of the things about Ghana is rich in culture. And the fact that we have our chief from the Ashanti region, he's the Marahini, which is the keeper of the gold. And he is with us, and he will be talking later on, but not today. So I just really want to thank you for coming. And this is how Ghana is. Ghana, you just say what you need, and they come through. So thank you very much, Stan. And give me a big round of applause.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Please give him a big hand, okay? I wanted to, before I speak, I wanted to recognize some of Philadelphia's longtime Ghanaians, and that's Dr. Samuel Corte, who has really been phenomenal in keeping the culture here in Philadelphia. And of course, you know about, you've already met Harold Epps, introduce you to Yvonne, but please, for the Ghana Chamber of Commerce, y'all can stand up and take a bow. I mean, they've already done it for you, so just stand up and take a bow. Who's here from the Chamber, Ghana Chamber? Okay? So I think with the ambassador opening the office here for the Diaspora Africa Forum, with the Ghana Chamber of Commerce here in Philadelphia, with the Director of Commerce and the African Caribbean Business Council of Greater Philadelphia, which I chair, we have a sufficient number of entities and diverse expertise to get done what the ambassador has charged us to do. We don't create anything else. We just need to get together and be together on this agenda, and it'll get done. I mean, all the expertise is around. We know everybody. We just need to sit down and, as he said, be honest with each other and get the next thing done. So I'm tasking all of you. Since I'm the oldest guy in the room, I'm tasking all of y'all to get this done. No more BS. Let's just go do it, okay? Thank you, guys. My next, we have the other important thing about the countries that we're talking about now, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and Liberia, is the fact that they are collectively the gateway to the economic community of West African states. That's a 16-member country unit with over 330 million people living in that. The consumer market is in excess of $1 trillion and growing. And as the ambassador pointed out in his remarks, very soon, within the next decade or so, Africa in itself, by its GDP, will equal to many of the countries that we look at, we're investing in now. So just prepare, do your homework, and get ready. Even if you're not going to be around, help your children and your grandchildren be prepared for the future, okay? I'm tasking you with that. So now I want to introduce you to our next two speakers who will speak briefly on their two countries. Jill, do we have his? Okay, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Paul Mahan. Paul is the economic attaché at the Embassy of Cote d'Ivoire in Washington, D.C., and after him, actually the Honorable Steve Wozie, who is the Deputy Minister of Information in the Republic of Liberia. So each of you guys got a couple minutes, and then we'll go through questions and answers, okay? I'm asking, you don't have to be strange. I said, you can do this in 5 to 7 minutes. I said, no, but try to make it work for me, okay?
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, thank you for being here. I would like to thank the CEO of Dunde, She has left, but yeah, she has offered us this platform, and we are very grateful for that. And yeah, I would like to thank all those distinguished personalities who are here this evening, just to share this time with us. I would like also, meanwhile, because they are placing my slides. Okay, I would like to seize this opportunity to extend the regrets of my ambassador to each and every one of you. He has been compelled to leave earlier. That's why I'm here in his stead. So thank you for your attention. So he has been asked, the ambassador of Ghana has made a comprehensive plea on behalf of whole Africa, and after such an intervention, I think that there is not much to say. So, but my ambassador was asked to present the priorities of his country. So that's why I'm going to speak all the same. So, my presentation will be structured as follows. We're going to talk a little bit about economic performances, then reforms which has been implemented in order to improve the business environment in Côte d'Ivoire, the projects of portfolio of projects, and priorities, what we consider in Côte d'Ivoire as priorities. And our priorities are focused on cashew and cocoa. So, just a brief presentation of Côte d'Ivoire for those who have never been there. So it is located in West Africa. It is a country which covers 322,462 square kilometers with a population of 25 million inhabitants, of which 26% are foreigners. And Côte d'Ivoire has a good road net, and it has the second largest port in Africa after the one of Durban in South Africa. So, okay, it is just the square in West Africa. What we see in color is West Africa. It is just the square between Liberia and Ghana. So now we're going to talk a little bit roughly about the economic performances. The GDP in 2017 is $36.8 billion. After a brief recession in 2011, the GDP fell to 4.4%, and then we entered in a phase of recovery as of 2012, and now our GDP is stabilized around we reached 9.3%, and then now we are stabilized at around 8%. So the target of the Ivorian government is to make Côte d'Ivoire an emerging country by 2020 with 60% contribution of the private sector. So the GDP of the different shares of the sectors in our GDP is for service 46.3%, followed by agriculture 20.8%, manufacturing 17.4%, mining 8.9%, and construction 6.6%. Côte d'Ivoire is classified by the World Bank as lower middle income country with a per capita GDP estimated at $1,552.8 in 2016. So, Côte d'Ivoire is basically an agricultural country. 40% of export, earning 25% of GDP, 21% of GDP, and 1/3 of working population. So this is the figure. I mean, the figures concerning agricultural sectors. We are major producers of cocoa, cashew, rubber tree, coconut, cola nut, and many other products. But unfortunately, we are really the rate, the processing rate is very low, and I think that the appeal of the ambassador just now was really a common appeal. We all need the intervention of American businessmen, American investors in Africa to help us process those products, because 8 million of Ivorians are invested in cocoa business, in cocoa growth. So helping Côte d'Ivoire process 50% of its cocoa is helping those 8 million of people better their life condition. Apart from agriculture, we have mining sectors. We have iron, nickel, bauxite, manganese, diamond, gold, copper in great quantity. You see, iron, 4 billion ton reserves, nickel, bauxite. Okay, you see the figures. So we have mining sector, which is really promising. And so in order to harness, in order to bring investors, the government has introduced, has implemented reforms in order to make those different sectors competitive. The first series of reforms are related to definition of new codes in order to improve the attractiveness of certain sectors. And we have the general investment code, we have mining code, we have petroleum code, and electricity code. And those different measures have enabled Côte d'Ivoire, investors to benefit some advantages, such as tax exemption and free transferability of equities and profit from investment. So a second series of reform is related to adoption of measures to eliminate barriers and facilitate business creation. So we have established one stop business creation center in order to enable creation and registration of business in less than 24 hours. So the business license issuance process has also been facilitated. Third set of reforms concern the dynamization of public institutions with the mission to foster the private sector development. So we have created a Center for Investment Promotion in Côte d'Ivoire. We have created also a public-private sector consultation committee, which is a framework of permanent dialogue between public and private sector. And we have one-stop external trade window. So, yeah, it centralizes and dematerializes the procedures for external trade. And the last set of reforms concerns measures that aim at transparency and in business and community and ensuring diligent resolution of disputes. So we have created so we have adopted laws. We have adopted laws aimed at regulating trade, fighting monopolistic positions. We have set up regulatory bodies to ensure compliance with competitiveness rules. We have a regulatory authority for public procurement and the Fair Trade Committee. We have also set up 2 independent bodies to ensure a fair and transparent settlement of disputes. We have commercial court and we have court of mediation. And these reforms have moved Côte d'Ivoire, the GDP growth from minus 4.7% to 9% over the last 6 years. So Côte d'Ivoire has been ranked among the top 10 reforming countries in the world according to the 2014 and 2015 Doing Business ranking. So we have a wide range of projects. So the copies are available at the back. I think that at the end of this intervention, you can pick copies. We have brought them for you. So those projects are projects of the government. They are part of the National Development Plan 2016-2020. Those are projects which are all related to all sectors of economy, and they will be run under a PPP model, a PPP procedure. So those are all PPP projects. Now, we're coming to the last point, priorities. We have 2 priorities. The government has 2 priorities. The first priority is cashew. We are currently producing 7,700 to 2,510 tons. But what is clear is that this production is exported first to India, where it is processed and re-exported to the USA. The USA is the great consumer of cashew produced in Côte d'Ivoire. But it is first exported to India. India buys it and processes it and re-exports it to the US. And at this point, the government, the Ivorian government doesn't understand. We say that it would be easier for USA as a great consumer to come to the ground, to come to Côte d'Ivoire and process it and export it straight to USA. So it would be much, it would be less inexpensive, and it would do good to Côte d'Ivoire because processing it on the ground would provide a job to Ivorian, to young Ivorian. So it would be really advantageous for USA to help Côte d'Ivoire process. So far, we are processing just 10% on the ground. So it is very, very low. And the target of the Ivorian government is to process 100%. And we are targeting from 700 and 2,510 ton. We are targeting now 1 million ton in the coming years. So some steps have been taken in order to facilitate, to encourage investors. So we have facilitating access to financing, improving the quality of cashew product through support from processing units and analytical laboratories, supporting operators in the marketing of processed products. So the state will support investors and building the capacity of actors through training and technical support. So producers need to have their capacities built through training. So the government is willing to offer incentives to investors in that sector. Last point, cocoa. Currently, we are producing 2 million tons, which build roughly 43% of global production. So our goal is to shift the processing rate from 30% now to 50%. And we need really American investors. We know that Hershey is doing a good job. Mars is also helping develop the cocoa sector in Côte d'Ivoire, but we need more. Hershey and the French company Semois and Olam, all together, they process 30%. Now, our target is 50%, so there is place for everybody. So, in this regard, regulatory incentives have been established to encourage and increase local processing activities through differential taxes, mainly by reducing those on processed cocoa versus raw product export. In view of this endeavor, the International Cocoa Organization has forecast that Côte d'Ivoire cocoa grinding in 2017-2018 season will rise by 23,000 to 60,000 tons. Even this will just increase the rate to 34%. So there is still a gap between our target and this current rate. Now we are appealing to you, American investors in agriculture. We are appealing to you so that you may help transform, you may help process this product, not only in agricultural domain, but also in mining, in construction, in all those sectors which are waiting for you, which are very promising. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please give him another big hand. We're going to talk about Liberia in a minute, but I want to introduce you to and have them come up. Council Lady, the Honorable Janie L. Blackwell is here. Please, Council Lady. And my Congressman, the great Congressman Dwight Evans. Please come on up, guys. Have a seat here. We're going to have you take it on. So I also want to point out, did I see, is Michael still here? Michael Griffin? Is Michael Griffin still here? Okay, so tell him I spoke about him. Come on up and say hello for a minute real quick. I did saw him. He's still outside, right? Yeah. Please, you know, you heard earlier, we talked about the council lady and the contribution she has made to uplifting many of us. I don't care whether you're one of the big developers in town or you're homeless. Everybody know, or you live in Alabama, Philadelphia, New Jersey. Who is your council person? Janie-L. Blackwell. So please, she is the founder, as Sharif Street pointed out earlier, she's the founder of Echoes of Africa. She is also the founder of the Mayor's Commission on African Caribbean Immigrant Affairs. She is a great advocate for the homeless, for those without, those nobody cares about, and people they throw away. So I want to thank her publicly for all she does for us, and please, give her a big hand, the Honorable Council Lady Janie-L. Blackwell.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Let me say, we are so pleased that all of you are here. We thank you for the wonderful presentations. We did hear a little bit of the end about Côte d'Ivoire. We want to thank our special guests who we are just overjoyed to receive, as well as members of the commission. Thelma, we see you, and we see you, Doc, back there, and so many of you. We hope that you are enjoying this Odunde weekend. We're really, really getting ready to accept all exciting activities, and it gives us great pleasure just to be here, just to be with you, and just to say we look forward for a great relationship between our countries. Thank you, and God bless.
Have a seat here. This next gentleman here is very dear to all of us because of not only because what he has accomplished in his career, but what more we expect of him. We know what he can do here for Pennsylvania, but now that he's in Washington, we expect him to do the same thing. Whether it's Donald Trump or the Republican, it don't matter. We know what he can do. I want to introduce you to the Honorable Congressman Dwight Evans. Please, Dwight.
Thank you for that. I too want to join with my council person, someone who I've known a long time, and everything Stan Straughter said is absolutely correct. She is probably the advocate for this entire city, and particularly on the side of always on poor people. It was my pleasure just hearing the conversation, because I'm on the Agriculture Committee, and I've said consistently that food policy is foreign policy. Food policy is foreign policy. So I really want to welcome all of you. And in any way I can play a part of this dialogue, because there's a direct connection, as I've just described, in terms of food policy, and I'm also on the Small Business Committee. So what takes place international affects, it can be 52nd Street or Ogontz Avenue. What takes place internationally can affect what takes place in these communities. So there is a direct connection in terms of trade and activity. As I was just listening, obviously Hershey is big here in Pennsylvania, Mars is big in New Jersey. So I sit on the committee that we talk a lot about that kind of exchange and trade. And the bottom line is that the Congressional Black Caucus, in my view, is the group and the advocate that can be advocates. Although people talk about the president, the reality is that the Congress has a huge factor to say about that. So I'm happy to join in this conversation with Stan Straughter, as well as Odunde, and the fantastic effort that they have always been about, and also Global International Center. Had the chance to meet with them, and I applaud to have these kind of dialogues. Again, I will congratulate you and thank you for this activity and discussion.
Thank you. Please give both Council Lady and the Congressman a big hand. Thank you very much for coming. I'm going to put a little pressure on Samuel, but I want him to take a minute and talk about Liberia. He's the Deputy Minister of Information there, and please come forward, Samuel, and we can take a few remarks, and then we can go through the reception. We have a reception that's hosted by Council Lady Blackwell, Sharif Street, and Congressman Evans at the African American Museum right across the street, and we hope to join you and honor some of our dignitaries over there also, so please. Deputy Minister of Information from the Republic of Liberia, Samuel Woolsey.
Well, thank you very much, and let me start by commending every one of you for gracing this occasion. And to the councilwoman, I want to say big thank you for this great vision. To the CEO of Odundi, who is not here now, and also to the congressman who just spoke. I bring you greetings on behalf of the people of Liberia. The government, headed by His Excellency President Adjei-Barwuah. Liberia is a small country, and we have a long-standing history with the United States. The city of Philadelphia, of course, Mr. Straughter just mentioned that we have the largest population here, not leaving out our brothers from Ghana and Nigeria and other countries. The ambassador summarized, his presentation, and I think he fairly presented the mind of Africa in terms of what we want to see, in particular, the economic community of West African states. So, Honorable Ambassador, I want to say a big thank you to you for that splendid presentation of our economic demography. In Liberia, we have a lot of other issues. Our government is open to the attraction of foreign direct investment in our country. And as we speak, the new president, His Excellency Adjei-Barwuah, is putting in place reform measures to strengthen our capacity as a country. We have iron ore in Liberia. We have huge gold deposit. In 2015, the United States government, in partnership with the government of Liberia, provided $100 million to establish Liberia Electricity Corporation, regulatory authority to at least manage the energy sector. And then the sector was divided into three separate sections: one, transmission, distribution, and generation. To date, the prospect for energy management is high in our country. Seismic tests were conducted back then in 2014 to explore crude oil, and that study is ongoing, and there is a serious prospect for investment in our energy sector as a nation. And there is huge deposit of about 2 million coconut trees along Liberia's southeastern coastal land, and the prospect for the production of coconut oil is high in that part of our country. So we want to encourage multilateral investors across the United States to tap into our investment prospect as a country. And we are open as a nation to reliable and sustainable partnership with companies across the world who come to help us, to work with us, in fact, to create a better business environment. We are currently working on market creation and development, and our programs are geared towards encouraging domestic entrepreneurship, like the ambassador mentioned in this presentation here. Some African countries share similar story, economic stories, although some are ahead of other countries. In the case of Ghana and Africa, I'm quite sure they are ahead of Liberia in terms of cocoa export. And I want to say here clearly that we want to follow the pattern from Ghana and Nigeria. And I'm glad that the ambassador mentioned that there is a need for us to have this tripartite team to work together to at least explore better and deeper business relationship between the city of Philadelphia and the state of Pennsylvania and the United States in general and those countries. So I'd like to say a big thank you to you all. And our ambassador will come one of these days to present a fair and bigger picture of Liberia as a country. So I want to say thank you so much for the time, and we look forward to more collaboration for you. We want to encourage you to come to our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Samuel, thank you. I was looking for Michael Griffin is one of the guys that's doing business in Ghana. His company, some of you know his company, Ashanti Pineapple. He's there. Michael, stand up for a minute. He's also He's also been designated the honorary counsel for Philadelphia from Ghana, so we're looking forward to you getting your stuff done, so thank you very much. I also want to introduce you to Mr. Malcolm Beach. Malcolm has a program coming up on July, give me the date, Malcolm.
31st.
July 31st.
In Greenbelt, Maryland.
Greenbelt, Maryland. Tell them what it's about.
Okay. My name is Dr. Malcolm Beach, and I'm with the Africa Business League located in Washington, D.C. And what we propose to do on July 31st is have something called Africa Biz. And it's primarily for small businesses. In other words, we were going to ask the African countries to tell us what the opportunities are for the African diaspora to sell and promote their products in the United States. Somebody's heard something called AGOA. Somehow it has to reach the small business. So we think that we can do something about that and increase the volume of trade coming from Africa to the United States. And that's just one of the things that we're going to do. And likewise, as they were saying about, we don't want these ships to go back empty. There are a few Americans that want to do business in Africa as well. So we're hoping to get some American exports as part of the conference.
Thank you very much, Malcolm.
And we have a radio show, I was reminded by the ambassador. We also have a radio show. The African Union has decided they're going to do more to outreach to the diaspora. There's an internet radio show at the African Union. And there's soon to be a television network also at the African Union based out of Washington, D.C. So you will be hearing more about opportunities, business opportunities in Africa, as well as the activities of the African diaspora. The radio station is coming along real strong. Of course, we have a radio show called the Diaspora Africa Forum. Yay! Created by our ambassador. She's going to keep us informed of everything that's going on. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Malcolm. Look forward to that. I was just sending this flyer, USA Africa Business Forum on Wednesday, August the 29th to Saturday, September 31st, and it's in Bucks County in Pennsylvania. There's a flyer outside. They can pick this up?
Berks County.
Berks County.
Reading, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Is the flyer outside? They can get the flyer? Okay, you can get the flyer. Right now, simultaneously with this program, we have another program going on with some young people. It's called Is Wakanda Forever. We have our African immigrant entrepreneurs and millennials. They're at Temple University right now at Gladfelder Hall. About 150 young people could come to discuss is this for real or played, and what do they need to do as the next generation to move this forward? And we have some very dynamite young people here in Philadelphia that are co-chairs of the Mayor's Commission on African Caribbean Immigrant Chairs Youth Forum, and they're handling that. So all they don't even need to be there. We just give them the authority and they do it. But they have a dynamite group of young people that are speakers, and the young lady that was here from the U.S. Department of State, they're helping us organize that. This is a pre-conference because they also have members, you may recall that President Obama created the Young Africa Leadership Initiative called YALI, and they established the Mandela Fellows. Well, they're there too. And in August the 3rd, we'll have a big conference with thousands of young people in Washington, D.C. with the Obama Foundation, the Mandela Fellows, to discuss this whole thing from their level. So those of us who are older, shouldn't say older, maybe more mature, they don't even need us anymore. They'll call us in for some expertise, but they think they can do better than we did. And so that's why I'm not even there. I'm here with you old people, okay? That's the one event that's going on right now at Temple, as I said. Also tomorrow at 11 o'clock, don't forget the street naming for Lost Fernandez at 23rd and South. And on Saturday afternoon at City Hall at 3:30, Councilwoman Blackwell is hosting Her Excellency Erica McCoy, the African Union Ambassador to the United States. She's our keynote speaker. Dr. Erica Bennett will be one of our speakers, along with Dr. Sandy Williams, who will be talking about women's empowerment. And the ambassador has already told you about women in Ghana, so we're trying to transfer some of that leadership here to Philly, okay? So we have, we want to thank you and all for being here. We're going to formally adjourn. Jill, do we have any other, you want to close this out and say goodbye? You're all invited to walk right across the street to the African American Museum in Philadelphia, one of the first early museums of African American arts and culture in the United States. It's here, it's across the street, and we'll have the reception. You should have this. If not, just come across the street. If somebody try to keep you, just say, Stan said I could come, all right? Let me ask Jill Fortunato, the Executive Director of GI Global Independence Center, to close it out. And I want to thank all of you for being here and really thank you for the support that you have shown to this work. And now, Dr. Bennett, I think we're going to get it done. I mean, the councilwoman says she thinks right now all things are lined up from the heavens down to earth. She was talking about that the other day. So I think we're going to get something done this time around, okay? Thank you very much. Please give Jill a big hand. Thank you all for coming and being supportive.
Thank you, Stan. So thank you everyone again for joining us this afternoon. I hope you found it informative and enjoyable. I hope that you'll visit our website, interdependence.org. Consider joining us as a member. We have many different levels, nonprofit, emerging leader, and general and student memberships. So thank you for joining us. Thank you to Stan for putting together such an amazing agenda. Thank you to Bumi and Odunde and to our diplomats and speakers. And I hope you have a lovely time at the reception right across the street at the African American Museum. And you're just going to go out to the little lobby here and make a left and go right out the door and you'll be right there. So thanks again, Stan. Thank you, everyone.
See you next year.